Hey, what's up, everyone? Welcome to today's show, where we dive into the wildest, most head-scratching news that's making waves right now. We've got Tesla trying to sell us a world where cars drive themselves, a massive meat recall that might have you rethinking that dinner in the fridge, BlackRock stacking up more cash than a Hollywood heist, and JP Morgan trying to convince us the economy is on a smooth ride. Yeah, it's one of those days where you're like, is this real life? But no worries. I've got all the juicy details lined up for you, and trust me, it's gonna be a ride. Ready? Let's do this. So, Tesla's latest big event was all about the future of autonomous transportation. Elon Musk, as usual, painted an amazing picture of how these robotaxis, now called cybercabs, will revolutionize the way we get around. Sounds futuristic, right? Except, there's one tiny problem. The whole thing lacked the one thing investors love: details. Musk gave his usual grand vision of a world filled with self-driving cars, reducing the need for personal vehicles, saving money, and cutting emissions. But hey, details? Nah, we do not need those, right? The Cybercab was introduced as part of Musk's plan to change urban mobility. He described the design as sleek and said these cars would make rides cheaper than ever. But here's the kicker. There's still no real timeline or clarity on how this will happen. Tesla fans are all for dreaming big, but investors? Not so much. Tesla's stock actually dropped after the event because the financial crowd was like, "Where's the meat, Elon? Musk has promised that this robotaxi will be operational in 2025, but without clear roadmaps, it's all a bit vaporware at this point." Investors were expecting more concrete data on production and technical advancements, but instead, they got a long speech full of Musk's usual optimism. Look, it is fun to think about a world where cars drive themselves, but let's be real. There is still a mountain of regulatory hurdles, technological developments, and consumer trust issues to tackle before this becomes reality. The big question is, will Tesla pull it off, or is this just another one of Musk's wild rides? So, are you ready to trust a car without a driver, or is this just one big futuristic fantasy? Food recalls! This time, nearly 10 million pounds of meat and poultry products from Bruce Pack have been recalled because of possible Listeria contamination. Yeah, 10 million pounds. That is not a small batch someone left out on the counter for too long. This stuff was sold in places like Walmart, H-E-B, Aldi, and several other grocery stores across Texas and nationwide. So, if you have been munching on some frozen meats lately, you might want to check the packaging. Listeria is no joke. It can cause serious illness, especially for pregnant women, older adults, and people with weakened immune systems. Symptoms range from fever and muscle aches to more serious complications like meningitis. Basically, it is like the flu's nastier cousin. The affected products include a wide range of ready-to-eat meats and poultry dishes. So, if your weekend plan was to grill some sausages or whip up some chicken pasta, it is time to reconsider. Bruce Pack issued the recall after routine testing revealed the contamination. The recall affects major grocery chains, and with 10 million pounds of meat out there, this is no small problem. We are talking about massive quantities shipped all over the country, meaning a lot of freezers are holding some risky goods right now. So, do yourself a favor. Check your fridge or freezer, toss anything that fits the description, and do not take any chances. Do you think this recall will make people more cautious about buying prepackaged meat? Or is it just another bump in the grocery aisle? BlackRock just hit the big leagues. Again, the world's largest asset manager now oversees an eye-popping $11.5 trillion in assets. Yes, trillion with a T. That is more money than some countries will see in a century. How did they pull this off? Well, it is all about their smart investments in exchange-traded funds, also known as ETFs, which have been booming thanks to a strong stock market. The company has been riding high on the market rally, benefiting from surges in private markets and fixed income. CEO Larry Fink is basically the Warren Buffett of asset management right now. But it is not just the ETFs. BlackRock has been growing across the board with everything from wealth management to technology-driven investment platforms. They are everywhere. It seems like if you have got money to invest, BlackRock has got their hands in it. But it is not all sunshine and rainbows. The financial world is still pretty shaky, with talks of a global economic slowdown, inflation concerns, and geopolitical tensions making investors nervous. And even though BlackRock is riding high now, it is tough to say what could happen if the markets take a turn for the worse. They might be sitting on trillions, but those trillions are as volatile as the markets they are invested in. So, what do you think? Can BlackRock keep dominating, or is there a financial storm brewing on the horizon? Well, JP Morgan has some interesting news for us. After everyone was biting their nails, Thinking the economy was going down the tubes, the bank came out and said, hey, maybe things are not that bad. They are talking about a soft landing for the United States economy, which basically means avoiding a recession while still cooling off the crazy inflation we have been dealing with. Sounds like wishful thinking? Maybe. But after their latest earnings report, they have some reason to be optimistic. Their earnings were not as bad as people feared, even though net income fell. They have been setting aside a chunk of money for potential credit losses, just in case. But what really stood out was their view on the broader economy. They are saying that, despite some rough spots, the outlook is not as grim as it seemed earlier this year. However, they are still cautious because there are plenty of wildcards out there, like rising oil prices and global conflicts that could mess everything up. JP Morgan is basically playing it cool, suggesting that the Federal Reserve's aggressive rate hikes may have done enough to slow inflation without completely wrecking the economy. But let's not get ahead of ourselves. This soft landing depends on a lot of factors, and anything from bad consumer debt to geopolitical chaos could still throw us all for a loop. What do you think? Are we really heading for a smooth economic ride, or is this just a calm before the storm? And that's a wrap, folks. Thanks for sticking around and tuning in to today's roller coaster of Robotaxis, recalls, and record-breaking finances. If you enjoyed this ride through the crazy world of news, make sure you hit that follow button so you do not miss out on more of this fun chaos we call life. Oh, and before you go, do not miss out on the song we composed just for today's news. It's dropping in a few seconds. Stay tuned, turn up the volume, and let the beats take you through the highs and lows of Tesla dreams and grocery nightmares. Catch you next time.
There's a man named Elon Musk, oh he's got a plan. Talking about a future where there's no one in command. The Tesla Cybercab, Robotaxi on the rise, but investors wanted more, they're tired of the skies. They promised innovation, dreams that never fail, but all the details, oh they left out of the tale. Stocks dropped down, people feeling the heat. They wanted something real, not just words so sweet. Muskie's got the vision, but is it on track? They're asking if this dream is ever coming back. Robotaxi riding empty through the night. People want the facts, they're searching for the light. Promises are big, but the details are small, and investors wonder if this dream will fall. Now in the grocery stores, there's a different sound. People talking about meat, or recalls going around. Listeria's lurking and it's making folks sick. 10 million pounds, that's a pretty big pick. Bruce Parks pulling back from H-E-B to Walmart shelves, recalling what they sold, concern for your health. Poultry, beef, it's spreading wide. Across the nation, there's no place to hide. Gotta check your fridge before you cook tonight. Listeria's a danger, better get it right. 10 million pounds, meat's been recalled. Listeria's got them scared, stores are appalled. From Texas to the rest, it's spreading fast. They're pulling it back until the danger's past. Then BlackRock rolls up, standing tall and proud. 11.5 trillion, their names in the crowd. Riding on the markets, ETFs and boom. They've made a fortune, filling up the room. They saw the rally and they jumped right in. Private markets growing, stacking up the win. Earnings keep on rising, they're hitting their stride. With BlackRock's assets, there's nowhere to hide. BlackRock's holding strong as the trillions grow. Riding high on Wall Street, putting on a show. From private markets to ETFs on the floor, they're leading the pack, always asking for more. Then there's JP Morgan, a different kind of fight. Talking about a landing where everything's right. The soft landing's coming, or so they say. But earnings took a hit on a tough market day. They set aside the cash, bracing for the storm. Though the headlines said it wasn't the norm. Earnings didn't drop as bad as they feared, but net income's down, the future ain't so clear. Banks are holding tight, trying to see it through, wondering if this soft landing will really do. JP Morgan's playing safe, preparing for the fall. They're talking about a landing, not a crash at all. With money set aside and hope still high, they're ready for the worst with eyes to the sky. So there you have it, from Musk to the meat. To BlackRock's trillions and JP Morgan's feet, the world keeps spinning through ups and downs. Markets rise and sometimes they drown, but through it all the players still fight, chasing the future, reaching for the light.